MSNBC was talking about McCarthy recently. Kevin McCarthy is at the center of the split in the Republican Party right now. I don't believe he is the cause of it. But when you have a party full of people that are only interested in themselves, you will inevitably get bickering that is beneficial to anybody who is not in favor of their robbing of America. And that has led to this lovely situation. I'm going to let these MSNBC hosts break it down for you.
Kevin McCarthy will hold a call today at 4 p.m. as he works overtime to shore up votes to become the next House Speaker. Let's get right to NBC's Ali Rafa with the very latest from Capitol Hill. And Amna Nawaz, PBS NewsHour co-anchor, also an MSNBC contributor. So, Ali, first, I want to start with your scoop here. What can you tell us about this meeting?
Yeah, Lindsay, my colleague Haley Talbot and I have some new reporting on how Kevin McCarthy is spending this last weekend as he battles for the speakership. We know he's going to hold this 4 p.m. call with House GOP members to try and lock in every last ounce of support he can before this make or break moment on Tuesday when the speaker's election is set to be held. That's in addition to a morning meeting on Tuesday where House GOP members will coalesce and talk about what they plan to do when that election is finally held. This is because McCarthy knows this is going to come down to a tricky game of numbers. Remember, he needs that magic number of 218 votes to win the speaker's gavel. And right now, there are more House GOP members publicly opposing him than he can afford to lose and still win. So right now, we know he's making concessions. He's considering making these concessions like changing committee rules, lowering the threshold on something called the motion to vacate. That would make it easier for House GOP members to oust a sitting speaker.
I do want to pause it there to comment on the fact that sometimes when these self-interested people are infighting, we can benefit. I have no problem with it being easier to replace the Speaker of the House. I have no problem with it being easier to replace any politician at any time, so long as you can present a legitimate reason. But losing your public office as a result of bad behavior, I think is good. I'm doubtful that McCarthy actually won't be Speaker of the House. I suspect a lot of this is just public performance. But we'll see. Tuesday, we shall see.
Something we know far-right members of his caucus have been pushing for months, something that would put him in even more of a vulnerable position if he does gain the speakership. But the last thing that McCarthy wants to happen on Tuesday is to not have that solid amount of support to be able to get this done in one round of votes. It's possible that this could go to multiple rounds until someone wins a majority of the votes. That's something we haven't seen happen here in 100 years on Capitol Hill. So really, the stakes could not be higher for Kevin McCarthy right now.
Yeah. Anything that highlights for the American people, any spectacle like that, like needing multiple rounds of votes to just appoint a speaker when your party controls the House, is good for America. Most people are not like you. Most people are not interested in political analysis and don't follow these things. So if they simply see the headlines, first time in 100 years, yada, yada, that's good. And it helps remind people of what is true, which is that when Republicans are in charge, it is chaos, and America suffers. If you have the more you have Republicans in charge in the U.S., the less well the U.S. runs. We just had 2 years of Democrats more or less being in charge. You could make the argument that Sinema and Manchin spoiled that, And I think he'd be right. But regardless, a ton got done. America actually started to recover. By every reasonable metric, America declines when Republicans are in charge. Republicans put us into our last 2 recessions, and the recovery happened only when Democrats got in charge again. So this general chaos in the House, no matter how it shakes out, is good for America because it demonstrates to the American people what Republicans really are. Absolutely delighted to see that McCarthy's having a bad day. I wish him nothing but bad days from now until he retires.